With us right now are Congressman Robert Pittenger from Washington, D.C. And Congressman Pittenger, we sure do appreciate you taking time out to kind of bring us up to date on what's going on in Congress. And if you would, let's get an idea. First of all, I guess Obamacare is top of the list right now.
Yes, it is, Sandy. We are fully committed to defund Obamacare. We're going to provide an alternate to the American people that will give them options, give them the freedom to select their health care, be much more competitive. You know, there's probably 200 health care insurance companies who could compete for our business. In North Carolina, we basically have just one. So the law is going to allow companies to compete across state lines. And as always in any market, the more competition, it creates better products and drives prices down. As well, it's going to be portable. You can take it with you. You can band with other individuals to buy cheaper. This is going to be a run like a business, not a government mandate and government managed. So we will see reforms are going to give better health care to the American people.
I think I saw Speaker Ryan in a press conference yesterday say it was going to take about a year or possibly longer to bring in a replacement. What happens in the meantime?
Well, we'll start the process at the point that we defund Obamacare, but we don't want to just immediately pull the rug out from people. We want to transition so that no one gets hurt and people have their insurance. But the process will begin immediately. It just will take some time for it to fully unfold and to get rid of what was built over the last 8 years.
Any idea what kind of costs we're looking at? I mean, is it going to be comparable to what we've had? Less? If so, any idea how much?
See the skyrocketing premiums and deductibles. I mean, deductibles are so high you don't even want to go to the doctor. And the premiums are skyrocketed, and the trajectory of those costs are escalating because it's not fiscally sound. It never was structured in a way that made sense. That you had young people who were going to pay for the health care of individuals who were older. Those numbers just didn't work. And now, in a competitive market, we believe that we're going to have much more cost-effective. Another thing we're going to do is something I did in North Carolina legislature. I led on medical malpractice litigation reform, and this was 2003, but it's law today. But 30% of the tests that doctors perform today are done to protect them have a lawsuit against them. It's defensive medicine, and that really skyrockets the cost of health care to protect yourself from an aggressive lawyer. So all these reforms will build into a more cost-effective health care.
Certainly hope so. And Medicare?
Yes, Medicare will always be there for our seniors. It is on a trajectory where in 15 years it will be insolvent. So for people who are not seniors in their 50s in some range, we need to look at the numbers on that. But we're going to give them options for market-driven Medicare options. And that will be clearly no one who is a senior today, let's say 58 years or older, will be touched whatsoever.
I guess the younger generation is going to have to look at it a different way.
Yes, sir, they are. It's not sustainable the way it was built, and it won't support. If we don't reform it, we're not going to have it at all.
Veterans benefits, another. We got a lot of veterans here in Scotland County. What's going on in Congress now? There's been a little bit of talk about changing some of the medical coverage on veterans benefits as well.
Well, we certainly need to, and veterans are primary for us, and certainly primary for my office. My district director, Bob Becker, he's worked on these issues for 15 years, and really in our state is counted as the authority. We have offices that call him constantly, getting support for our veterans and processing. We probably have 500 to 600 different cases for veterans that we're processing at any given time. So the casework, if people have a veterans issue, they need to contact us. The biggest problem with Veterans Agency is dealt with the bureaucracy and the protection of jobs. It's a civil service job, and it's very hard under the past administration. They weren't willing to change those laws. We passed laws in the House of Representatives that gives more authority and freedom and flexibility to the director to fire people who need to be fired and not just be there filling the spot and people who are not doing a good job and attending to the healthcare needs of our veterans. So process is very important. I mean, veterans have waited months and many, many months to get adequate health service, and that shouldn't be. And we're going to make sure that our Veterans Agency performs in a much more effective way.
The confirmation of Betsy DeVos as Education Secretary, of course, controversial, but now that she is confirmed as the Education Secretary, how much of an impact, and specifically what impact will she have on local school systems?
Well, the key that we want to provide is, our educational systems are totally floundering. They're not, they haven't done a good job. We're ranked way down, probably 19th or 20th in the world in terms of education, K to 12, and this shouldn't be. Again, you get back to a competitive educational environment. And what Ms. DeVos is an advocate for, which I fully support, are freedoms and options to take that tax credit and go to a charter school or go to a private school, a Christian school, and be able to take that voucher with you and expand charter schools, give more autonomy, give more authority to other local governing education interest to provide education. And right now it's controlled by a very bureaucratic education national lobby that don't meet the needs of the individuals and the communities. And we want to give freedom and flexibility to American people to not be bound up in a school district or a school that's not meeting the needs of their child. We want them to have the right and the freedom and the ability through these vouchers or tax credits to be able to take that and support their effort to go to another school that will really be effective for their child.
That, along with medical costs and the price of the wall and all this sort of thing, a lot of money going out in directions that haven't been spent before. Where's this all coming from? Does this mean a tax increase?
Growing economy. Look at our economy today. We're growing at 1% economic growth. What does that mean? Well, it means that we're not creating jobs. When we're creating jobs, those are tax receipts going back to the federal coffers. Let's go back to 1980 when Ronald Reagan took over as president. We had 20% interest rates, high inflation, high unemployment. We were in a death spiral in our country. Reagan did two things. He cut the regulatory burden. He cut the tax burden. Well, you think, gosh, you cut the taxes, where's the revenue? Well, just what happened was it enabled the economy to grow. Businesses, small and large business, had more capital to invest, expand, and create more jobs. Within 2 years, we were creating 300,000 jobs a month, then 400,000 jobs a month, then 500,000 jobs a month, 1 month, 1 million jobs. We were growing at 6% economic growth. The average job growth for President Obama has been 175,000 jobs a month. He's never gotten barely past 200,000. He's never got to the lowest amount of Reagan's recovery. So, and his growth, economic growth, has been at 1%. So, a strong economy creates more jobs. It creates more revenue back to the federal government. That is the most important factor in funding our government. President Obama has allowed these annual deficits to occur. He's doubled our debt. And I'm just saying it's factual. He's doubled our debt. He's created more debt than every other president who preceded him combined. In fact, it's the only president since World War II who never reached 3% economic growth. So economic growth is really the important factor, and that's what we've got to have in every single county. In Laurinburg and Scotland County, we need to have strong economic growth. We need to have a business expansion. We need to have capital and credit. It's all been bound up by agencies who put too many restrictions on on small banks to loan to small businesses. I was on the bank board for 10 years. We knew who was credit worthy. We knew who had character. And today, you have to check all these boxes. Well, the banks can't lend to most people because they can't fill all up the right boxes. So small business, they need capital to expand, and it hasn't been there. So there's many reasons why you reduce regulations, you reduce the tax burden, and it's going to allow our economy to grow and really create strong revenue. Even the Bush tax cuts, over a decade ago, the Bush tax cuts generated $800 billion in brand new revenue that we hadn't seen. So it got caught up in a war and misplaced and spent there in some respects, but the revenue was there. And John Kennedy knew that. Economists know that you need to grow your economy, and the best way to grow your economy is to have competitive tax rates. We have the highest corporate tax rate today of any country in the industrialized world. Well, that doesn't make sense. That's why companies want to leave America. That's why other companies from around the world don't want to come into America, because we've created a very uncompetitive tax climate. So you reduce the tax rate, it makes it more engaging, more inviting for business to be here, to grow, and to expand.
Well, let's hope it works, that's for sure. Now, what's coming up in the next couple of weeks in Congress that we should be keeping an eye on as far as affecting Scotland County and the local area and the state?
Well, again, it's regulatory reform. There are so many regulations, either through executive orders or when the Democrats control the House and Senate and the White House between 2008 2010. Enormous punitive regulations on small business that need to be lifted. You ask any economic development person, and they'll tell you the impact of these regulatory environment. I've met with the economic development group in Scotland County. We spent an hour and a half together some time ago, and I'll be back meeting with them on a regular basis. But we've got to grow an economy, and what is good for Scotland County is the same as good for every county in this country. But we need to create jobs, and that's what we haven't done in the past 8 years.
Well, again, Congressman Pittenger, we do appreciate you taking time to fill us in and look forward to doing this again soon.
Sandy, I sure respect you. I respect your service to our country. You're just the highest caliber individual, and I thank you for the service that your station has in the community and all the support that you give everyone. And I would like to say that if individuals have needs, whether it's Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, veterans benefits, visas or passports or FEMA or USDA, whatever it might be, come see us. We have regular office hours the first and third Tuesday of every month from 9 a.m. till noon. And we'll come more if we're needed, but we meet at the Scotland County Economic Development Office. My associate, Jake Cashwell, will be there every first and third Tuesday of every month at the Scotland County Economic Development Office. His number is 910-303-0669. Again, do not hesitate to call us if you have a need. That is why we're there. We can help process real problems that you have with Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and veterans benefits through a very bureaucratic, cumbersome government. And that's our job to do, so don't hesitate to call us.
Certainly will. And again, thank you very much, Congressman Robert Pittenger.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.